There have been calls for unity from within the Republican Party for several weeks now as attention shifts to the 2022 midterms, now just 622 days away, but who's counting? Joining us now to talk more about all of this is former Trump 2020 senior advisor Jason Miller. Jason, welcome back to the show. Nice to see you. We've all been, good morning to you. We've all been thinking about Tiger Woods after his accident yesterday morning in California. And I understand that President Trump reached out to you to put out a statement on his behalf, of course, because President Trump no longer has the ability to do that on Twitter. But, you know, the president, very fond of Tiger Woods. Of course, he awarded him with the Medal of Freedom as well. But what did he have to say?
Rob, one of the first things the president said was how much he really felt for Tiger, the fact that he feels that Tiger is really a good friend. There's someone who's they've spent a lot of time together. And also there's a love of the game. There's a love of golf. Obviously, the president had awarded him the Medal of Freedom and really felt for Tiger, someone who has come back from these 5 different back surgeries, now to go through this, a compound fracture in one leg, a broken ankle. This is just a horrific injury. But if there's anyone who can come back and prove the critics wrong, it's Tiger Woods.
Yeah, and Donald Trump, by the way, right up there with Eisenhower. I would say Trump probably our greatest golfing president. He's certainly somebody that loves to play golf. So, you know, we're certainly thinking about Tiger Woods, and it was nice to hear from President Trump yesterday. We have not heard much from the president, really, since he left office about 35 days ago. We did hear from him briefly after Rush Limbaugh passed away, but he is going to be speaking for the first time to the American people on Sunday at CPAC. I know you're deeply involved with putting that together. What are we expecting from the president?
Well, I think we're going to see very much a Trump speech in the fact that it's going to be exciting. It's going to fire up the base, but it's also going to have a bigger story that's going to be telling. And I think for all the attention that's been out there, the establishment Republicans who've been attacking President Trump or saying that we need to chart some different direction, completely ignoring the fact that President Trump received a record number of African-American and Latino-American votes for a Republican in this last presidential election. But President Trump will be laying out, here's a future path for the Republican Party. And not just the party, because there are a lot of folks who joined up with President Trump or voted for him who weren't necessarily Republicans. There are people who maybe they were turned off by politicians from both sides, but they believed in this America First agenda. They believed in the blue-collar working men and women in this country, making sure that we're ending these permanent wars, that we're getting conservative judiciary, that we're going in right-sizing government and getting rid of so many of these regulations. So there are a number of these policies that are uniquely President Trump that really he is the party going forward. So he's going to lay the forward path here, but also too, and the president made this point to me yesterday when we were speaking as well, he is very concerned about the direction that Joe Biden has taken the country, whether it be amnesty, whether it be jacking up the corporate tax hike, stopping construction on the border wall, capitulating to Iran and China. President Trump is very concerned that in such a short amount of time, 4 or 5 weeks, Joe Biden is seeking to undo so many of the gains that we've made over the past 4 years. So you're going to hear President Trump, I think, take pretty sharp political aim at Joe Biden.
Yeah, more progressive than I think any of us thought. I want to play you a soundbite from Senator Mitt Romney, of all people, praising President Trump and his future prospects. Take a listen.
I expect he will continue playing a role. I don't know if he'll run in 2024 or not, but if he does, I'm pretty sure he will win the nomination.
You think he would win the nomination?
Oh, I think he'd win the nomination if he runs. I mean, a lot can happen between now and 2024. So, and I'm not great at predicting. I subscribe to Yogi Berra's philosophy in that regard. He said, I don't like predicting, particularly if the future's involved. So I don't really know what will happen there, but I look at the polls, and the polls show that among the names being floated as potential contenders in 2024, if you put President Trump in there among Republicans, he wins in a landslide.
I think he might subscribe to some of Yogi Berra's other philosophies as well. But we're hearing reports that Donald Trump is already the presumptive 2024 nominee right now. Do you think that's true?
Well, speaking specifically to Mitt Romney, hey, even a broken clock is right twice a day, apparently.
Yeah.
So good to see Mitt on board for this one.
Right.
But I think what you're going to see here is for Republicans, the way that we get past all this this fake drama. And again, Rob, to be clear, the only drama that's going on right now is between Beltway insiders and grassroots conservatives around the country. There's no other ideological divide or split in the Republican Party. But the thing that always unites us the most is when we contrast our viewpoints against those of the Democrats. And And that's where I think you're going to see President Trump go after Joe Biden in such a way and really kind of elevate and say, this is how we lead as a party. This is how our ideas are better. And so I think that's going to make a big difference.
We are looking at midterm elections that are just over 600 days away right now. Donald Trump has the ability to play sort of kingmaker and campaign on behalf of candidates that he likes and supports. And there are probably candidates out there that he does not like and support. Do you expect him to sort of be kingmaker down there in Mar-a-Lago like Ronald Reagan was in Simi Valley once he left office?
Oh, absolutely. And I think President Trump is still the biggest name, not just in Republican politics, but in politics overall. And so whether we go and obviously we want to go and win back the House and the Senate for Republicans in 2022, but there are places where you have Democrat held seats or open seats, or in a few places where there may be Republican held seats, but we could get a good mega America First upgrade. We're going to be looking to play in a number of these races. And so we're actually getting together with the team this week to target some of those bigger races where we want to make sure that we have good candidates, or even to back some of the strong Republican incumbents who have been good allies of the president, who really believe in this America First agenda, not shipping all of our jobs overseas and things like that. So, but I think the pilgrimage to Mar-a-Lago will become a thing to watch in the future here.
By the way, we're going to have Matt Schlapp on the show on Friday to talk more about CPAC. But is there any chance that we hear from Mike Pence this weekend at all? There are rumors out there on Twitter that he may make an appearance. Do you think there's any truth to that?
Not sure. I actually spoke with the vice president on Monday. He's in very good spirits. Was telling me about his conversation he had just had with President Trump last week. It's good to hear that the vice president is doing well, and he met with a group of House conservatives led by Jim Banks from Indiana yesterday. I would love it if Vice President Pence was able to join President Trump in Orlando. I think he's a strong leader for the party. He's someone who we need involved. And I tell you, after President Trump, Vice President Pence, probably the #2 biggest draw on the campaign trail for 2022.
Huh. Interesting. All right, Jason Miller, thank you very much. Looking forward to the weekend. Excited to hear from President Trump for the first time, really, in 35 days about substantive issues and not the Rush Limbaugh passing. That's the most recent time we heard from him. We were glad that he called into the network here, but a lot of people excited to hear about his plans for the future, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.